This is BB Davis, and you're at 1021 Magazine, where the motto is limitless and timeless. We hope everyone has been doing great. Want to say still Happy New Year to you and to yours. Today is a very important day. Ever since the 6th of January, where we had on our American soil the rioters taking control, breaching the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And ever since then, it's been a trickle-down effect of what do we do about this? What constitutionally can we do about this? What legally can we do about this? So, as the days played out from my first broadcast and coverage, along with 1021 Media Group that were in DC, the editors and interns there, and other editors and interns around the world, because we do have contributors from around the world. But those right there in DC, we wanted everything cohesive and to keep them safe. And thank God they were. But they were very close to the actions. All of us who tune in, we have seen these disgusting, horrendous actions that is not a part of we the people, America, the beautiful America, the powerful, God bless America. It was none of that. And in the Capitol, it didn't matter anymore whether you were Republican, Democrat, Independent. Didn't matter, because everybody was in the same boat of danger. Now we see that some have contracted, and we're still in the pandemic of COVID. Some have contracted COVID for being in those close spaces with everyone because of this American, like they're saying, domestic terrorism that's happening. This is my mask under here. But when I reported, others are now reporting, and this is what we do as a family of media. You put your ideology out there, others take a look at it, and they may report upon it. When I first did the broadcast, you can look, I said, this was a sinister, thought-out plan under the guise of trying to be politically correct. And that was not the case. That it was so innocent. But it was exactly what I said. Then I also said, too easy to breach. Scaling the walls. We now see that many of them were of the military. The person that died, the persons that died, should not have. Even the ones who died as the American terrorists. Then I also talked about you need to look a little deeper inside. Who was those inside that let this happen? And now it's all being revealed. And now we have others in media broadcasting that are asking those questions. But I'm very proud to say that we jumped on it real quick. Just, people can say, being a conspiracy theorist, oh my God. But a lot of times that helps to look beyond what is being seen. I say like this. Never in the history, in my 49 years, soon to be 50 next month, blessedly, I've never seen this type of craziness and disrespect and looking so weak as a nation because of someone who's being elected. Now, I have lived under many presidents. That I can think of from my own mind, not such as a baby, but mine were Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, George H. Bush, Clinton, George W. President Barack Obama, President Donald Trump, and now I have lived to see President-elect Joe Biden, who will be president in a few days, God willing. That's 10. Okay? I've lived to see a first man of color become president, and I've lived to see a first woman of color become vice president. My sister of the Sisterhood of Women. And all of these may have not been anybody's choices, but you respect the office of the president. You respect your country. You respect the process. And then when it is time to elect again, then elect by voting, and then see where the election goes. But this is on another level of crazy. Mind control. People who say they have respect, but you would never have done what you've done. And then here is the other craziness. Trump said we will march there. He wasn't even present. And yes, it is an insight. We elect leaders, but even they have to go by rules until this administration. Everything President Trump did was not bad. And I don't think anybody said it, but that craziness outweighs it. Anything that was better. And as a political science major and from a family of service and politics on both sides, my grandfather on my maternal side was the commissioner of elections during the Dick Riley era. We take it seriously. Take the Constitution seriously. And this is not good for the country as far as within and then abroad, where you have other enemies that are just looking, salivating for the opportunity. And when I also covered earlier and I talked about the things that we have experienced in America, they too, my family of journalism, talked about it. The loss, epic losses. But I truly hope in these days to come that our military steps up in every facet of every state and they protect. And then we as citizens, you must protect yourself, look at your surroundings, be your neighbor's keepers in your neighborhoods or wherever you go out. most I would implore a lot of people to still in this pandemic get out for your essentials and get back in, because these are dangerous times on these highways and on these byways. Last night we were up all night looking, reporting, getting different sources in. I love this song right here. I'm going to play a little snippet of it. This is Jonathan Butler, Heal Our Land. That is exactly what we need, the healing. We definitely need the healing. So now I'm going to go here. We're going to go back to, we're live. We're covering with CNN here.
Legitimate president. On that day, President Trump unleashed the force of a mob on this, the people's house. He encouraged that attack with the explicit intent to disrupt the joint session of Congress, an attack that threatened the safety of the Vice President, the Speaker of the House, and the President pro tem of the Senate, the next three officers in the line of succession. And look at what that violence has wrought. At least 6 dead, offices ransacked, the sanctity of our Capitol breached for the first time in 2 centuries, our hallways littered with broken glass, the battle flags of a long-dead Confederacy, and the debris we have come to associate with the Trump campaign. Madam Speaker, I have faith in the resiliency of our government. We will bring the rioters to justice. Their accomplices in this House will be held responsible. But today, we must focus on the gravest threat first. President Trump, who incited this riot and who remains a grave danger to the nation. As we warned the Senate when we tried him for his first impeachment, President Trump has made clear in word and deed that he will persist in such conduct if he is not removed from power. He poses a continuing threat to our nation, to the integrity of our elections, and to our democratic order. He must not remain in power one moment longer. Not one moment longer. The danger is too great. We must impeach. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves the balance of his time. The gentleman from
Donald Trump reporting it on last night. The Capitol stays clean. Despite the negative impacts that happened, they still went about their jobs. And it is just shameful. It is shameful. This is a dangerous time. And we, as Americans, we look weak. Weak as we can be. But it will not be that way always. Here is what I say to everything. As far as trying to impeach for the first time ever of a president of the United States twice, I feel that this should possibly be done after the inauguration, even though you're still going to have the high threats in place, which are being revealed, which many of us who reported on, we already knew. But that is done after. Also, invoking the 25th Amendment, absolutely, according to our sources, and as it has already been revealed for many local and major news sources in and out of the United States, that amendment will be invoked once President Joe Biden and Vice President Madam Kamala Harris and the Biden administration will take office. That way he will never get to run for president again. I will say that we had a lot of talk before I end this segment here real quick about how the journalism professionals, we are reporting the news. Well, listen, we are in a pandemic. Many of us, we have to either do our coverages from home, on the road, as if you are covering, because you have journalists who cover on the road. They are on the road with their crew, but it's a different time. People, all journalists cry on TV, cry on their podcasts or wherever they're reporting. That's normal. In the normal now. Many were emotional, if you know the history of journalism, way back when many moments happened. From the assassination of Martin Luther King, the assassination of Kennedy, the assassination of, both Kennedy brothers, the assassinations of many leaders, assassinations, and then even just regular deaths, even moments of massacres, loss of life. 9/11, we are not above being. People could use. So many of us, under the circumstances, have restrained ourselves. But, journalism has evolved. But one thing that will never evolve from true change. And anyone what they would keep in mind in doing journalism. But throwing a curse there, showing emotions, or crying, that is time. We will stay on continuously the coverage of the pandemic because it is important to do that even in the midst of these storms that is going on, because the numbers are still spiking. There are issues with the vaccines that are happening. The medical professionals and the scientists, especially, let's just talk about the medical professionals. People are still casual. People are not talking about people who say, I am COVID free, negative test, I've gotten over the hurdle. No. It may be negative, and thank God that you got over the hurdle. But it is still within, because that is what a virus does, within the bloodstream. And until they can get an eradication of that, you can have negative, come through the fire, come through the woods, praise God. Because we know a lot of people who have died. But make no mistake about it. What is not being talked about are the side effects and lingering side effects and forever side effects from those who have had it in a way where it is near death. And so that is why the science should be respected, but now with this new administration, the science is going to be more respected. Listening to the professionals and listening to, as much as you can, the health professionals, and staying abreast and staying with truth. So we will be talking about it constantly. We're still in 2021 of the pandemic, and we pray for everyone to always have healing. But we're going to keep it serious out here. We're going from different angles of the COVID, from relationships, starting relationships, what should you do, even family relationships, not just the love romantic relationships, but it is very serious. If you don't have it, do not put yourself in compromising situations to get the COVID. Do as much as you can. And then we're going to be talking about the honesty of that too. How many put themselves square into those situations by not heeding what needed to be heeded. That's one part of the people who got COVID. And the other part were people who did everything they could, but they got in a compromised situation. So those are different. We're going to continue in on the coverage of the second Trump impeachment vote.
Consider the reckless action in which you engaged today.
Gentleman's time has expired.
California, Mr. Schiff.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
1 week ago, the president incited an insurrection against Congress to prevent the peaceful transition of power. It was the most dangerous moment for our democracy in a century. Today, we invoke the remedy the founders provided for just such a lawless president, impeachment. More important, today we begin the long road to restoration. America has been through a civil war, pandemic, insurrection, and yet our democracy endures. It endures because at every juncture, every pivotal moment, when evil threatened to overtake good, patriotic Americans step forward to say, enough. This is one of those moments. To preserve this sacred place, this citadel of democracy for ourselves and for posterity, let us say, enough. Enough.
And that is what we are moving from. Enough is enough. Moving forward from that. And people have the right to be disappointed. You have the right to be angry if that wasn't your choice, but you do not have the right to overstep and break the law, break the Constitution, and think that there will not be any consequences. We thank you so much for locking in to the coverage. It's an overcast day. We will be doing more coverage on tomorrow, unless there's something really, really breaking. Make sure you check your preferred news sources. And we really appreciate you locking in with us here at 1021 Magazine. We are celebrating our 19 years online. And the love and joy of what we do, there are no words. I have covered presidents, I've covered inaugurations, I've covered the RNC, the DNC. I am a beautiful and competent, loyal staff around me as well, who gets it. Integrity. Not always being the first to break the news, but to make sure you report it correctly. No matter what happens, it is a new dawn and it is a new day. And no matter how dark it gets, the sun will always shine. No matter how hopeless things are, hopeful will always be there. No matter how much faithless it may seem, faith will always be there. No matter how graceless things may feel, grace will always be there. Stay resilient. Stay on the right side of life and of God bless America. And work together. I think that this moment showed a lot of people who were divisive. Not everybody, but a lot. They were in the same boat. Our lawmakers that we vote in to represent us and our needs. They were compromised in the worst way, and there's still a high threat. We hope, in God we trust, that things will get better. Faith up. Always. Positive. Higher vibrations. Always. And in the words of the First Lady, Michelle Obama. I'm BB Davis, publisher and founder of 1021 Magazine. Thank you so much for locking in. And more to come. You can visit our platforms online. And we say to you, be safe. And God bless you. And God bless America. And we thank those also outside of America who have been praying for America and wishing us well. We thank you because all of us in this world, we are being impacted still by a pandemic, by our own personal set of issues, and it is time for more world unity and world love. And even through all of this, you have the yin and the yang, but it is how you always rise to your occasion. And that is what matters. More to come at 1021 Magazine.